2, the 3 Men in the Basement Experience. I'm your host, Otto, coming to you live and direct, not from the grotto, from the 26th floor of the foyer at Mohegan Sun. And this is day 2. We got a great show tonight. So the 3 Men in the Basement tonight are my co-host,
Roger Levette. Welcome, everybody. Thanks for joining us.
Always we have Mr.
And Mrs. Prime
in the house, and we have special guest, friend of 3 Men in the Basement, friend to all of us. We have Very Gary. Say what's up, everybody.
What's up, everybody?
All right, so we plan on going through the show tonight. Big shout out to Gem Mint and TiVo. They're running a show at the same time, so you can go back and forth if you want to see what they're talking about. I'm sure TiVo has got some Black Knight Report stuff that he wants to talk about. But we're here to talk about our experience at Terrificon, day number 2, a Saturday, probably the busiest day of the con, for the weekend con. You're going to get a lot of stuff that we're going to talk about. We got Bernie 1869 calling us out, saying we're late again. We're going to have some people come up. Some people are going to join us, but we're just going to hear talk. So if you're catching us on a rewind, thank you very much. All right, so today is day 2. We started out real early in the morning. I was able to get in right before the doors opened, and I got a purchase right off the rip. So I walk right up to Gary. I say, "What's up?" And he's like, "Hey, man, I got to show you this." And I'm like, "What do you got?"
It was not a sales pitch.
Yeah, it wasn't a sales pitch, but it was really cool.
I swear it was not.
It was really cool. So he shows me this book, and I've been on his Doom kick.
It was like I figured you would appreciate it.
Yes, I definitely do.
I did not think you would just turn around and buy this.
Right. So I was looking at it. He showed it to me, and I'll show you the book right now. And this was something that we talked about, Lords of the Long Box, the Secret Wars books. And this is one of my favorite covers of Doom. This is the Doom cover. But Gary shows this to me, and I didn't even think you realized. When did you realize that it had a sketch?
Setting up for the show.
Today.
But when I was pricing it.
Right, when he was pricing it, right.
So what was that? For Thursday night?
I know you really can't see it, but Justin's going to bring it up. If you see there, Zek did a Doom face right on it. So it's double signed, yellow label, and he's showing it to me, and I'm like, dude, this is awesome. And I'm like, I'm looking at it. We're talking some more. We can pass it around. And it's just a killer Doom cover in a great way. So I'm like, all right, dude, I'll take it. And Gary, what did you say when I took it?
I don't even remember.
You're like, dude, I'm not even trying to sell it to you.
I was.
I mean, do you want to sell it? And you're like, yeah, I want to sell it, but I'm not trying to
Not trying to,
Right.
I wasn't trying to get a sale.
Yeah, exactly.
This is really cool.
So shout out to everybody right now. We got Dead Pulica on Instagram. We got Mr. Randy Sloan. We did have the art chemist on, and we're just ready to go right now. So this book is going to go with my Doom covers and stuff like that. I'm really psyched to have it. So I myself, we're just going to go over what everybody did real quick, and then we'll go into a little bit more detail. I myself spent 4.5 to 5 hours in CGC lines and waiting for artists and stuff like that. It wasn't as bad as you would imagine because there was a lot of people that I reached out with, a lot of people that I talked to. I kind of like the new CGC way with the bags and stuff like that.
Yeah,
and
it's a completely different animal. I mean,
right.
I'll go into that one.
Yeah, we'll go into that, and we'll talk about how they sign in, and then they give you a text. It's like a virtual line, which was really cool. So I've got tons of sheets that we can talk about, and we're briefly going to talk about that. Then we'll go in a little bit in depth. So, Justin, why don't you talk a little bit about your day?
So, I mean, my pickups will go, of course, if you guys watch us on Lords of the Long Box, we're always specking. I was able to grab 2 copies of Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur, number 1.
Nice.
Appearance of Moon Girl.
What did you pay, if you don't mind me asking? I don't have any.
$2.
Perfect.
And you're taking it to a $2 box, and that's what you found?
Yeah, they were $4 and half off.
Yeah. Oh, my God.
Another one was the Grim Ghost number 1 from Atlas Comics.
Right, Atlas.
We
ever talk about this book?
Yeah, we talked about this book. Yep. And then small little purchases, thanks to Very Gary, complete and adjacent Aaron run of Thor for She-Thor. So issues 2 through 7, which was great.
Yep.
And then
let's build up to this.
And we're going to build up to this.
This
was a package deal.
Okay.
This was a Batman 36 and a Batman 85, both CGC 3.0s. But the top of the kicker is a Batman number 42 7.0 CGC, which I am going to bring this.
You bring that up, buddy. You bring that up. You coddle that. You hug it. Look at that.
That thing, unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
So this
and
was
the blue label, Golden Age blue label.
Golden Age blue label, off-white pages, first cover appearance of Catwoman. They actually just recently, Art Germ recently just did the cover swipe of that. So come New York Comic Con, I'm definitely going to get that one graded.
Yeah.
Signed by him. Put it right next
right
to
there.
it.
Right.
Yeah. And it's really nice. I mean, Gary, we looked at it. Gary thought it was amazing. Gary even pointed out that the paper from the paper is sliding. So I'm definitely going to crack it. I'm going to have my presser press it and send it back and
really?
possibly get a 7.5. I mean,
Okay.
you know what?
Instead of getting it recased, you're going to try to resubmit.
I'm definitely going to resend it.
Yeah, this is a pretty book.
I mean,
It's a lot of hands on that book, man.
So yeah, it's a key book. So that were my pickups.
Right. So when I saw him today, I looked at him and he's like the cat that ate the mouse. You know what I mean? He was like, he had it right there. He's like,
I was ready to go
got this
home.
shit and grin. He's like, yeah, I'm going home. I'm
ready to go
like,
home.
you really are? We got a whole day and night in front of us. He's like, all right, I'm out. I'm like, no way. So really cool. But before we move on, I just want to give a shout out. I just want to give a shout out to everybody who rocked the 3 Men in the Basement t-shirts today. It was really cool.
They were noticed.
They really were.
They were
We're going to talk
noticed.
about that in a minute. So, shout out to PJ Morris who made his way, met his family, beautiful family, real great guy to talk to. He had so many X-Men books in his backpack. I'm like, PJ, that's like a $50,000 backpack you got there. We had some beautiful X-Men books. Shout out to Chris and Comic Dave from Jersey, Boomerangos and Comic Dave from IG. They came out, hung out at the pool with us, rocking the 3 Men shirts. And just a really, really good day for that. So shout out to everybody who did that. And you know what? When people were wearing the shirts, they were like, I just saw that shirt or that shirt there. It was really, it's a small con, but it seemed like there was enough of us that every time somebody turned around, there was somebody talking to somebody about it. You know what I mean?
No,
So,
good point.
Roger, what do you think about that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's plenty of times. Hey, guy was just here with that same shirt on.
Right, exactly. Has to wear something. So we're definitely going to do that. So, Roger, I didn't see Roger all day today. Roger got in a little late.
This is definitely by far the most fun I've had at a concert.
I like that.
I
Cheers to
love
that.
Roger more than
Cheers to
you.
that. You definitely
I-
cheers to
I-
that. Cheers to a good day today.
It was a
Like
good
a good
day.
day. Cheers. You got to drive to Jersey. All right.
Because I didn't. The only signatures I really wanted were Crane. I took care of that yesterday. I did get a couple signed by him today, just for not certified or anything. But I was able to just walk around and meet vendors and talk to people and just find different personalities. Where usually it's like you're in a rush, you're at a con, you're like, I got to get this signature, I got to do this, I can do that. I didn't have any of that.
And all that stuff takes time.
That takes
It does.
takes a
And
lot of time. So you're
Mm.
trying to get there fast because you know how long you got to wait once you get there. Today, I didn't have any of that. So I went up and down, went back to the room, checked in, and I was able to just walk around and meet people.
Right.
And then I really wasn't looking for anything specific. So I started talking to somebody like, oh, look at this book you got. And so I did find some cool stuff. If anybody is following the show, my ASM 300 collection. So I found this Samurai Grandpa from Phil at Vintage Comics and Toys.
Really?
Phil and I probably talked 45 minutes about just different things, just anything and everything. It's not always about comics. He was a great dude. Phil, if you happen to be watching this on Rewind and watching now, thanks a lot. That was great. I stopped at another booth. I did not get his name, but this guy had a bunch of books on his wall from a store that closed down, and they had long boxes of books that were never put in circulation.
That's unbelievable.
So these are the two that I bought for him. I got the X-Men #4, which is
First Omega Red, book that auto stacking.
I gotta hear that from Everett on a constant basis.
Yeah,
So
all right.
I might as well get one.
Now, this is a 3 Men in the Basement favorite, though.
Yeah, and this
Oh,
one
look, it's a
here.
bachelorette party. Hey, girls, how was last night?
Hey, it was good.
You had a good time? No, it's okay. We were just there. So, when do you get married?
13 days.
All right, good luck. Have a good time, all right? What club are we going to tonight?
We are going to a comedy club.
Oh, nice. There you go. Get some good laughs. You got some cocktails, all right?
Yeah.
All right. Have a good time, ladies, all right? All right. All right.
I can't compete with that.
Yeah, Roger can't compete with 5 out women, 6 out women, so.
So, lost my train of thought.
So we're first Dinobots.
Yeah, there you go.
This other one is Transformers and Raid, first Dinobots.
Right, love it. This
Right,
book
I mean,
is
these books are
beautiful.
beautiful. And both
Right.
of these. You
Fantastic.
can tell they've never been in circulation.
Right, absolutely. Just awesome books.
Then the only reason I bought this book was to have Clayton Crane sign it. So I bought this from just a random person that I found it on the wall. I didn't realize Crane had his own booth. I would have went there and bought it because those copies were cleaner. And then while I was waiting in line to have him
This is
sign
sick.
that,
This is sick.
book was at that table, and I was like, I have to buy it. I have to have him sign it.
That was at Crane's?
This is where he was
Yeah.
signing.
So I'm not a variant guy,
Yeah.
right? You all know that?
Yep.
That is a beautiful.
This is a book. Just
And
what you showed.
I gotta say, out of
I would buy that and have
out
it
of
stacked.
everybody's signature, I gotta say his would be definitely my favorite.
Really?
It's just
That's
the way he signs the book is very pretty. I guess. is a good way to
Yeah,
put it.
it's very feathery. It's pretty.
Yeah.
It's you. He uses that paint pen.
Yeah, and,
It's just great.
and after he signed it, I saw a little sign that says for an extra $5, he signs his name in different colors. So it's like a rainbow signature. And he had already signed my book, so it was too late for that. And this is definitely my favorite experience of the weekend right here. I wanted to have a remark done. I went to the front. This is an old con exclusive book.
Yes.
For Terrificon. I actually got it that year and had Bill Tucci sign it.
Right.
So I went out to the front and they had these left over and bought it just to have him do a remark. Not only is this picture beautiful, but I talked to the guy for like 45 minutes. Bill Tucci is one of the nicest guys I've ever met, especially for artists. He did not charge me for this remark. He just asked for a donation to the Wounded Warriors.
Yep.
Didn't tell me a specific price. When I told him if he added a little color to it, I would throw $40 in. He not add color. He handed me. He's got this anniversary pins. He handed me like like it was yeah. So he's got the anniversary Shy that's actually coming out recently or coming up. And when I found out sitting there, and he would draw a little bit and stop. If someone came by, he would stop and have a conversation. He was asking me about, we started talking about kids. He asked me about my son, and son wrestles. Just a phenomenal personality. And oh my God, let me get back to your book. And I'm like, you know what? I'm like, I've already done everything I want to do. I'm not in a rush, dude. Like people will come up for a signature. Do you mind? No, go ahead. And I was having a great time talking to him. And what I got was he spends a chunk of his time helping young artists get known through Kickstarters. Okay. So he had two gentlemen with him, and I didn't get their names. Well, first of all, let's show the book.
Yeah, let's go. Go ahead.
That remark is phenomenal.
All right. While he's showing that book off, I just want to, Bernie 1869 is actually, do they have any con exclusives? That's a phenomenal book.
That, make sure you kind of point to it because the remark is so good.
It looks like it's part of the book.
Yeah.
So it's really nice.
So we don't know about con exclusives? Not just his.
I don't think he has any.
Okay.
I don't think because the only thing they were selling was like the last few years.
Okay.
So these guys have a YouTube channel. I'm going to give them a shout out. It's called Crowdfunding Comics, and you can just type that in a search on YouTube. They have their own YouTube channel where they interview these comics, and they do these crowdfunding and Kickstarters to try and get money so that they can print out comics.
Right.
So they've got this comic that's coming out soon called Shy that he's a part of, and it's he's got Crusade Comics is the name of it, and they're on Facebook.
Nice.
This is Billy Tucci's thing, and this is what he does. And like I said, he was doing full page drawings. They were only $100. Some of those artists were doing remarks smaller than the one I got for $150.
Neil Adams.
Yeah,
Right.
Right, great. The same thing. Like I was talking to Justin when I was waiting in line. So what if he did a remark and he's charging $150 for that little head. So it was. I had a great time talking to him. By far, out of all the cons I've gone to, my favorite artist as far as interaction with. Nicest guy in the world. Anybody stopped by and said hi, started a conversation with him. If I was in a rush, it might have been. I might have been like, hey, can you go back to my remark? But it was just, it's he appreciated everybody that donated money. He would, if you put money in that thing, he would stand up, shake your hand. It was just a phenomenal experience.
That's
really
awesome.
This is what I'm going to say about that. It's so easy for the artist to do that, to just be pleasant, just be nice, and just have a conversation. And look how long you talked about it and praised the guy.
Right.
It doesn't take much for these artists and writers to leave an impact.
Correct. I agree with you. Very
we
good point.
talked to our friend from New Jersey who had to leave, not Chris, but his friend.
Yep.
Who said he had a drawing done by Neil Adams that cost him $300.
Yeah.
And then after he's like, hey, can I take a picture with you and the drawing you just did? He goes, yeah, $30.
Yeah. Another 10%.
He just paid me $300 to do a drawing.
You can't take a picture?
You can't take a free picture with my phone?
Right.
And later, I'm going to tell a story about Neil Adams. It's hysterical. It was another vendor I talked to, a personal story he had. But that's the kind of stuff that turns some people up.
100%.
Right.
But then you go out to these little tables, and you talk to these people who love to draw, and they're doing these things for you. I mean,
and helping other artists.
Artists, it's phenomenal. So salute to you, Billy Tucci. Hopefully you watch this. If not, I told him we were going to give a shout out. The other two gentlemen that do the other YouTube show, they said they were going to give us a shout out. So thanks a lot. I appreciate the experience I had today, and I look forward to seeing you again.
All right, awesome, great story. And it really doesn't take that, just be a human. You know what I mean? Be a pleasant human. You know what I mean? That's all it
I
takes.
had no problem standing there for 45 minutes.
So this is what's really fun about this, because not only are you going to hear about the fan expo, but now we're going to hear Gary's point of view from his dealer expo. So Gary's been prepping for a while. You know what I mean? You got the big van. You've been here since Thursday. Talk about yesterday. How was yesterday?
Terrible.
Terrible. Not even slow. Terrible.
Terrible.
Terrible. All right.
Terrible.
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 All right. No reason to explain it. Just terrible.
Well, all right.
No traffic or whatever. Just a little bit. Like, why do you think it was
There
terrible?
was a fraction of the people. Okay. First of all, we're in rural Connecticut. Okay.
Mhm.
To say it simple, we're not in a busy part of Connecticut.
Correct.
We're not in a major city.
Right,
We're in
of course.
rural Connecticut.
Yep.
People are working. Nobody's coming here on a Friday from an hour away.
Correct.
It's just not happening. So
Yeah.
it's a slow day.
Okay.
The people that were here on Friday were getting their signatures
Yep.
and their sketches and their CGC stuff, which would have been an amazing day. Like if I was here
Right.
in your guys' shoes yesterday,
Yep.
would have been amazing.
Correct.
You know,
Okay.
amazing.
Okay.
Getting
Yep.
everything done in a fraction of the time that
Away
it would
from
have
the
taken
crowds.
today.
Yeah.
I think that's why yesterday was terrible.
Okay.
Because everybody's doing what you guys are doing.
Right.
Which I'm gonna say now too is this CGC thing is starting to get huge.
Okay.
Like, how busy were the lines today? at
It was-
CGC?
Oh,
today.
It was long, but their system, which I'll talk about in a minute, was pretty good. So it is definitely like becoming like even PJ Moore, shout out to him. He's like, I wasn't a CGC guy, but now I'm a CGC guy, and I got to get this stuff done. And he told me he probably spent a couple $100 without saying exactly how much on stuff like that. Did you guys go to the con today?
Yeah.
You're wearing a shirt. Did you have a good time?
We did.
We did. All right. So we're doing a little show right now called 3 Men in the Basement. We're live on YouTube. So any big purchases for you, my friend? You pick up
Yes.
anything good? Tell us about it. What's your name, first of all?
Darren Roach.
Darren, have a seat there. You want to sit down for 2 minutes?
Yeah, hold on.
Come on, sit down. I know you got pizza you want to eat, but
Actually, 2 minutes. Yeah.
no, Krispy Kreme. There you go. 2 minutes. 2 minutes. You're rocking the shirt.
Yeah.
What's up, man? I'm Otto.
I'm
Otto.
Darren.
There you go. Justin. That was
Justin.
Brian.
Hi, Roger.
Gary. All right. So we got a spot guest show right now. So where are you from?
I'm from Boston, Massachusetts.
Nice. All right. Made to check down here for 2 nights or 1 night.
2 nights.
2 nights. Okay. So can we ask you what your biggest purchase was today?
Yes,
All
it
right.
was actually the Marvel Handbook Encyclopedia done in 2009.
Okay.
Online, it's the incomplete set.
Yeah.
You can get one book for around almost $300.
Right.
One guy had it on sale. The complete 1 through 14
Yeah.
for $150.
Really?
So my eyes just bugged out of my head. I was like, yes, now, please.
Right. Okay.
Love it.
Right. So you knew a great price. You picked it up.
Amazing. It's
Really?
less than $10 a book.
Really?
Yeah.
That's
so
awesome.
for me, I'm a Marvel geek fan.
Okay.
I've been playing Marvel superheroes, role playing.
Yep.
games,
Absolutely.
stuff like that.
Absolutely. That's
So-
a phenomenal game.
since I was young.
Yep.
So that's like a holy grail.
Really?
I've been trying to collect it for 10 years.
Nice. Okay.
And he just like, yeah, we got it right here. And I was like,
Did you ask for it or like?
oh, if you have it, because
Yeah,
no
right,
one
right.
ever has it.
Exactly.
Like, if
And
you
somebody
have
just
it,
happens to
he
have
just
it.
turns around. He's like, has it wrapped pre-packed? He's like, yeah, right here. And I was
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. There you go. You couldn't give the money fast enough.
my wife was like, I've never seen your face turn like
No. Yeah. So it was a big purchase for him today.
It was.
Yeah. There you go. Like she's smiling too. She's like, what is this guy getting into? You know what I mean? So
She's like, leave me alone.
yeah. Right.
I don't
So
remember
that was
seeing you
awesome.
at the con. You obviously didn't come to my booth.
Yeah. So very Gary in the center. You can't miss him with the hair. You know what I mean? So that's really cool. And then did you meet any artists or anything like that? Like,
Yeah, actually,
yeah.
I'm a graduate of the Joe Kubert
You
School
really are.
in
Oh,
Dover,
congratulations.
New Jersey.
Awesome. My brother went there.
So I met up with Tim Truman, who's also
Yep.
an alumni there.
Yep.
I also met up with Adam Kubert.
Yep, absolutely. All right.
I
So you're in the
said,
business or you graphic design? What do you do for a career?
I'm actually a comic book illustrator.
Oh, nice. All right. Take him a shout out. You know?
I'm making a book. It's coming out. The second one's coming out in September. Where's the camera? There.
Nice. There you go. Yeah.
It's Imperium Flux. The second issue's coming out in September. It's going to be through Darren Roach 74 at gmail.com. If
Right.
you want to hit me up to see what the cost is, it's about $5 a book.
Nice.
There's also previews if you want to ask about those. I can send out a couple preview PDFs for you so you can see what the artwork's like inside.
Oh, nice. We'll definitely have to check that out. There you go. My
Yeah,
brother,
absolutely.
PowerKid Comics, Brett Swanson, he's a local guy from here. He usually has a booth here, but he does books that are more for kids and stuff like that. But it's really cool stuff. Though he's PowerKid Comics and he's a graduate of Kubert School of Art, so that's really cool.
Awesome.
So
What
great to see you. We're old, so I was
That's okay.
maybe 93, 93, 94, somewhere around that
Awesome.
area. So I think that was just when I went to school. It's like really, really starting to get busy and stuff like
It
that.
was,
So
yeah. Actually, some
that's
of
it.
my teachers were those graduates.
Oh, were they really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Which is
Awesome,
a good
awesome.
tradition they kept
Yeah.
rolling over.
Nice.
A lot of the Fernando Ruiz
Yeah.
was a graduate, I think, from '92,
Right.
and he was one of my teachers. And,
Awesome.
he worked for Archie Comics for almost 20 years.
Yeah, absolutely,
So
absolutely.
that's
Awesome.
So you're going back in tomorrow?
Actually, we're done for the day.
You're done for the day? All right. Yeah. What do you think of the crowds today?
It was. Well, I'm used to New York Comic Con.
Okay, so I don't do that.
So
Justin does.
It was not fighting salmon upstream.
Gotcha.
It was
Okay.
actually really nice.
yeah,
The
yeah,
flow was really
all
good.
right.
Yeah, it's,
So-
it's a large building, so it works. Ever since they built this and they moved it into here,
Yes.
you got bigger aisles. And,
Yeah, no, it was actually really good flow. The people, it seemed like it had a good turnout for today.
Yeah, I think we'll find out, Now, my question to you is when you're walking around and you're looking at all this stuff, like you thought it was pretty easy to get around and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So what about compared to Boston?
It was easier. It was
Easier? Yeah, nice.
And
All right,
actually,
good.
the drive down here is a lot easier than me going into Boston.
Yeah, okay.
Boston's a crazy band anyway.
There you go.
And you got to pay out the nose for parking.
For parking. Now,
We're
free
here-
parking,
we're
right?
Free
Now,
parking here.
they talk about that, like on his ads and Michelle, free parking. That's a big deal.
It
to people,
is.
right?
Well, in
That's a
Boston, it's $25.
Right. What is it in New York?
Oh, it's like $40.
Yeah, right.
minimum.
Absolutely.
So, I mean,
Providence was like
right, more than
50.
40,
You know what I mean? Just to park your car, man. You know what I mean?
So if you're a vendor and you got to go there and you're slugging your own stuff,
Yeah,
you
right, like
automatically
there it is.
you're coming in on a red because
Yeah.
you got $75 if you're going for all 3 days.
Right.
For parking alone, so you're like, oh, I got to make this.
Nice.
definite.
Right. Did you go to see Neil Adams? Did you go see Storenko? Any of those guys?
I didn't see Steranko.
Yeah.
Neil Adams, I've had several conversations.
Did you get any good, any bad? Like, it's
Well,
okay.
it's always harsh.
I like that.
But he also went to in our graduating year. He also came in because he was good friends with Joe Cougar.
Right.
And
Absolutely.
we were his final class before he passed.
Oh, interesting.
And so he was in there and he gave us all little sketches and stuff
Okay.
of the class. And and he's like, I better not see this on eBay.
Right. Oh, geez.
So track you down.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm like, are you kidding? This is from you. I'm
Right,
going
right.
to treasure this. This is
Interesting,
gonna be, it's
interesting.
me,
Good- different
Joe,
story.
and done by you. I'm
Yeah.
like, come on.
All right. That's really, really cool. Cool story. All right. So you shout out one more time to your channel so everybody, or your address.
It's just DarrenRoach74@gmail.com if you're interested in getting the comic book itself. It's Imperium Flux. I have issues 1 and 2. 2 is coming out this September. And you can email me to see if you want to do any previews or anything like that before buying the book. The book will be selling for $5 and I can do it through PayPal. Or
We
you
love
can
PayPal.
PM me and see about price arrangements if you want to get bulk orders for comic book stores.
All right. There we go. Awesome.
Cool.
Thank you very much for
Not a
joining us. Thank you very
problem.
much. There you go.
Hey, Joe,
We're gonna
that was great.
Take our card,
Awesome.
email
That's
us,
right.
and
Yeah.
then we'll put everything in the description once we're
Yeah.
done with the
Once
show.
we're done with it. Absolutely. Okay.
Thank you,
got it.
guys.
All right. Awesome.
Yeah.
There you go.
Take care.
All right.
Have a great night.
All right.
You as well.
Awesome. So go to have Krispy Kreme right now, right?
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, you're gonna stop by. Yeah. Nice. So that's what happens, man. That's what happens. This is what it's all about. So, Gary, getting back to you.
Yeah.
Yesterday, horrible.
Not great.
Now, as a dealer, are you biting your nails a little bit? Are you?
I was stressed.
You were, right?
The
Juan, hold on a
reason I
second.
was upset.
In the studio audience right now, we have the assistant Juan. Juan, was he stressed yesterday?
He was yelling at me.
You were.
No, he wasn't. He's nervous.
Okay, nervous, right?
Okay, and the reason I was nervous, is because last year, day one, I made everything back.
Okay.
Everything back. Day one.
Gotcha. Okay,
so
right. So
after
you're
on the rest of
so you hit the home
weekend last
run.
year-
This year, you're straight out.
Oh, dude,
Right.
horrible.
Yeah.
And I think it was because CGC, if you remember last year, CGC had 2 witnesses,
Oh,
and they had a
so-
small presence.
Yes.
This year, the artists, the writers grew.
Right.
You guys were here last
Yep.
year, so and CGC had a bigger presence, which is great. That's fine.
Yep.
So I think again, a lot of Friday's crowd did what you guys did, and I would have done the same thing.
Yep.
On Friday.
Right.
Smaller lines, smaller weights. CGC Saturday today was probably just a complete disaster, and you just get everything done Friday.
Okay.
And then today was good.
So today you get up, new day.
Still upset.
Still.
Still yelling at one.
Still yelling.
Yeah, all right.
Still almost hit him.
Today
we
I can see Gary
I
back.
got a Teen Titans 12 8.0 you can hit him with.
Yeah, I watched that video.
And I know resubmitted will come back.
I was upset. I wasn't upset. I was nervous. And
Right,
I was
okay.
nervous till 3 o'clock.
3 o'clock, okay.
It was-
Now, how was let's talk about this. So early entry, people are walking by. At what point do you think you were like, okay, you said about 3 o'clock, but like 1, 2 o'clock, are you getting traffic? You making deals?
No.
Like,
You
no.
were the biggest sale of the day until 3 o'clock.
Really? Shout out to Otto.
You were the hero.
Saw you coming.
Yeah, really.
But again,
Beautiful
I was
book.
comparing it to last year.
Okay.
I mean, I think we both were. Friday was so good. I was trashing the location.
Yep.
I was upset. And again, I think the majority of the day was signatures, sketches, artists, CGC. And I also think this, all right, I have to word this the right way.
Okay.
So this is a small con, but it's not a small con. When I say small con, it's not New York, it's not San Diego.
Right.
It's probably not Boston. It's a smaller con packed with artists and writers.
Gotcha.
Right?
So shout out to Mitch for doing that. Like that's it. You know, right?
Great. I'm not knocking the show.
Yes, right.
I'm not knocking the show.
Right.
So you only have so many people in the building, so many guests. You're not getting 100,000 guests like New York, right? You're not. I think the majority of the people were spending their money today in the back of the building.
Okay.
Artists, writers, sketches, CGC, the same thing.
Okay.
For 3/4 of the day.
Yep.
We didn't make a significant sale until probably 3 o'clock, which was to another vendor.
Right.
And then it just started snowballing.
Really? All three got one, right?
I believe this is we talked about this, that everyone got all their stuff done and slowly started coming back to the floor.
Interesting.
You know what what else I would think you can attribute that to? Being someone who was just out there looking to buy something. There's so many vendors there. I'm not buying the first book I see.
Yes.
I'm going to spend the first 3/4 of the day hitting every booth to see what everybody has before I go, okay, I'm going to go back and see this guy, that guy.
Yes, and people had their lists.
Yeah, you're going to have people that not only are going to, they know they got to wait in line, so they're going to wait to see the actors and the artists, but they've also, I want to go see what everybody has before I decide when I'm going to drop my money.
The only impulse sale was probably Otto's.
Yeah. Yes, right.
There were a lot of people
you didn't shop, and you didn't do that on purpose.
Right. But I'm happy, dude. It's okay, man. It's okay.
We did have a lot of people say your prices are better than other people. We did have people say I need to look around.
Yep.
A lot of people said I got to look around. I just got here. And we did have people come back. And again, I'm going to say 90% of the sales were the last 3 hours of the show.
Nice.
Right? Maybe the last.
So now, does he buy you dinner?
Yeah.
All right. Good for you, man. Good for you, man. Yeah. You went to a buffet. No, where'd you go?
The Irish pub.
The Irish pub. Nice. There you go. Good. All right.
You had wings and like these tater tots were huge. I took a picture of huge stuffed tater tots.
Right. So now you're like, all right. Okay. You're good. You take a deep breath. Okay.
We still have Sunday. Let's see what happens.
Now you were saying, which I thought was interesting, is that you have to now do your wall over, right? Because you moved a lot of walls.
A lot of holes.
Okay.
A lot of slabs went.
What book was getting touched the most that didn't sell?
Morbius.
Morbius.
Amazing Spider-Man 101.
Yeah. What do you have that?
I have three
copies.
A 5.5, 6.5, 7.5.
Okay. That book's trending up.
Book is trending up.
Yeah. Okay.
People know it.
And
all right.
5.5 for what?
The 5.5 is PGX, so the low GPA.
Okay.
3.25.
Right.
Or 350.
Yeah.
And then the 5.5. That was the 5.5. 6.5 is like maybe a couple $100 more. I don't know, but the prices were all fair. Yeah. One dude was looking at Amazing Spider-Man 50 is 6.5, and then Morbius, and he wanted to package them together.
Okay.
But my pricing, not to like pat myself on the back, but the pricing was already at GPA.
Yeah.
So I'm like, look, I can't do much better. So he wanted to package them together. He ended up taking the ASM 50. Which happened to be the very first sale to trigger It all started snowballing from there.
Nice, awesome. It does take that one time, you know what I mean? It just takes that one time. So
like I felt better after that one. I was like, okay, all right.
Will you take $50 for the 101?
Gary, is that book trending up?
Yeah.
That book is trending up?
Right, okay. And then I had people asking, saying,
of course you did, thank you.
This is the worst. How many people looking at the book like, yeah, I just wanted it raw. I'll open it for you. I'll crack the book and you want it raw. That's the price.
Dude, if you crack it, can you drop $100 off it? Like, no, like, oh my God.
The price is the price, but I'll open it for you. Especially the PGX one. Like, I actually contemplated, what if we just crack it and put it on the wall at the same price, and now it's not in a PGX.
Correct. Okay. Well, hey, it's interesting.
But I've noticed too with this show more than East Coast. This is a heavy artist and writer show, which is great.
Okay.
That's what I like.
Right.
And vendors. East Coast Comic Con was heavy on the vendors.
Yep.
Would you say that more so than the artists?
Like in Providence is not. Like Providence is, you get your wrestlers, you get these people, you get that. Like I don't go back to Providence anymore. I don't mess with
What
that.
I noticed with this show, and I'm starting to feel like the industry is moving in this direction, is that people want original art.
Okay.
Which I always do too. I like it. If there's an artist there, last year Jason Fabic was here, and I was just gushing all over my man. And
You know about that, Justin?
I know all about that.
Oh, you were right. I was in line. You were right there.
Because vendors beat out me.
That was me.
Yeah, but now we got press passes, Justin.
Yeah.
Now we got press passes, so you got to get feedback.
Still
to come back.
Yeah. So, I wanted original art last year. This year, there was nobody here that I needed to go see. But I feel like maybe it's just this con or it's the industry. I don't know, but it's starting to trend in the original art direction and those gold labels, CGC stuff.
Nice.
So again, you had 3/4 of the day today of people spending time back there, which is okay.
Right. Gotcha.
Because
Those people got to come back.
exactly,
You know what I mean?
and our location is facing.
Right. I know you were poo-pooing it. You know what I mean? You were poo-pooing
all day.
Right. But I think that's good. So, in hindsight or, forward thinking, if you're ever there again, you'll be like, all right, there we go. I can have that come back and stuff like that.
Yeah,
So,
people,
because it is it's an expo center, you guys. They built this, just so you guys know, Mohegan Sun built their expo center for the Barrett Jackson car show. Right, they signed an exclusive contract with them, and that's why they built this expo center. So this is a huge expo center with lots of room, lots of aisles and stuff like that. So just wanted you to know, before it used to be in their convention center, which was good, but it's a convention center, and it's just it's just a little bit tight. You know what I mean? But now they've about half the size. I agree with you. So really cool, awesome. We'll talk a little bit more about that. So I'll tell you a little bit about my day. My day was all about signatures and CGC and the costumes, right? So, and I knew that was going to happen because I made a purchase last week or Friday from JS Collectibles. Today I was just looking around. So today I had to get my signature. So I got in really early, thanks to Mitch Halleck, and I was able to kind of walk around and bump around. But who shows up first? The consummate professional. All these artists show up whenever they want to show up. But who shows up early to meet his fans? Steranko. Steranko shows up 10 o'clock on the dot. He's ready to go. So I'm like, I can't wait, So I get in line. I've got 2 Captain Britain #1s, the magazine ones, just so you guys know. And what I didn't realize was I was going to have Claremont and Steranko double sign up because Steranko did a story in there. Larry Lieber did the cover, but Claremont wrote the Captain Britain, but there's also there's actually an Annihilus story in there too by Ditko and Lee. Yep, yeah, right. And then there's a Steranko story in there. So, but I didn't realize that the only way I could get to CGC is if I do a private signing with whatchamacallit, with CGC. With Claremont, right, to get that, right? I'm sorry. So this morning, 7:30 in the morning, I wake up after being out till 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm actually using my knife that I bring to cut a letter box, you know what I mean, a signature box at like 7:30 to do it. So I go there, now I open it up, and Steranko's like, where can I sign this? Where can I sign this? And I'm like, how about right here? And he's like, absolutely, And Steranko is such a great guy that he grabs me on the shoulder and he puts a little pressure, like he was like, man, it's great to see you. And for a 120, 140-pound guy, I'm like, dude, you got a good grip, And he always talks about lifting and stuff like that. So I talked to Steranko for a few minutes, and it was just another great conversation. And then I dropped the book off at Claremont, and then I had the first Shang-Chi, which I wanted to meet with Starlin. So Starlin was a little bit late, and he was a little bit late last year, but Starlin was such a cool guy that I didn't mind waiting. You know what I mean? I didn't mind waiting at all. So
right by the Irish bar.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, right. So I got in the Starlin line. It was moving pretty quickly. He signed it, but I also have the picture that I took with him last year. And like I said last night, like the pictures that I've been taking, I want them to autograph to my family. So he did it, and I asked Bob McLeod to do me a cannonball picture, which he did. And I asked Starlin if he could do me a little gauntlet on it. And he said something about his hand. He goes, I can't draw the way I used to because I got shot in my hand. Or he goes, that's when you get shot in your something or a shot.
I know the story.
You do? Okay, so
I think this is Starlin. So if I'm wrong, guys, just correct me.
Right.
Those SodaStream machines?
Yeah.
It exploded.
Right.
And blasted his hand.
Okay. I mean, that would make perfect sense.
Damaged it.
Right. That would make perfect sense. So he goes, but I can write this. So he wrote in his letters, he wrote snap with an exclamation point. which I thought was pretty cool. And then I went from there. I went and met Al Milgram, who was a really nice guy. I never met him before. I didn't get a chance to take his picture. And he's an older guy. He's retired, and he goes, "I'm just sitting here enjoying my retirement. And I love talking to guys like you." And I was like, "That was really cool." So today
Is Al Milgram on, like in the 80s?
Yes,
like,
he's all over the place.
Everything.
He's all over the place. So today I got CGC submissions, right? Which kills me because they're all separate. I got to pay the shipping, but I'm not going to piss and moan about that. Tomorrow I've got some other stuff to do.
A lot of line waiting though.
There's a lot of line wait. There's a lot of line wait. And I started to get antsy. So what's that?
What are you doing tomorrow?
Tomorrow I'm going to meet Claremont. I want to meet him. I actually want to meet him to have him sign my X-Men 96 that Dave Cockrum signed. No CGCs for my own personal collection. I've got to hand in my ASM2 with the Resto label, the 4.0 Resto. I want to get rid of that. And I thought Joe Sinnott was going to be here, so I have to send my FF5 or my first Doom to get graded again, right? So that's the last thing. But so what CGC did this year, Justin, you want to talk about that for a second?
Yeah.
Okay, but before you do, we have a special guest. We have Todd, the former bartender, one of my good friends. He's here to join us. Todd, what's up, brother? Good to see you. Todd, the former bartender.
How we doing?
All right.
How we doing?
Indeed.
So we have Todd here. Todd is one of my oldest friends, and he's here with the con with his family. And Todd used to be a really good bartender, but now he's retired. He works in a private, works for the state now. So he's here with his family.
I was at one time the best bartender in Connecticut.
No, I was
then
the best
after
bartender.
I retired,
Right.
Otto
Yeah.
then took over.
And passed out again. So I had to wait till he
The
retired.
advocate, he's the
Second best bartender. Right. So thank you very much for joining us tonight, dude.
My pleasure.
Good to see you. Good to see you. So we're going to talk about the CGC process, which I think was really, really cool. And then get your thoughts. So Justin, why don't you touch on that?
Yeah, so I mean, I've been doing CGC for it's got to be about 5 years for Signature Series. This year they started, and they must have just started this. I don't know if they did this at San Diego, but for this con and going forward. So obviously, you get a witness. They bring up the books, and then they actually give you a bag. And me being a banker, in years of banking, they almost give you, if you've ever seen how they put the money in a bag and seal it up,
right.
that is literally the bag it comes in. So they take the bag, they seal it, they put a little donut that has who signed the
So
book.
this is after you got a signature.
This is after
The
you get
witness
the
leaves
signature.
Right.
The witness seals the bag, and if you want to continue keeping the book,
Hold on. They seal the bag at CGC booth or
No.
right after the signature?
Right
it
after the
depends
signature.
on if you're done, then they'll just seal it. If you're
Okay.
going to get multiple signatures, like Otto, let's say he went from Claremont to Steranko to Crane,
Right.
it would still stay open with
Okay.
that seat with that person.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but now I did it yesterday. I had Donnie Cates sign 3 books and I had Stegman sign 1. Now, normally you just take the books back to CGC and they hold them there.
Right.
Now with the sealed bag, I literally had the books overnight in the hotel.
That's crazy.
Like it's
Was there a time limit?
Yeah.
Yeah, just the weekend.
Just the weekend.
But yeah, I mean, and they say as long as you don't cut it or try to open it, it's good.
Right. And they also create a virtual waiting line. Right. So I was bugging out because I'm standing around and Justin's like, you could be walking around. I'm like, no, I got to get in this line. I got to get taken care of. My wife was getting antsy. I had to do something with the kids. I had to get ready for them. So I really wasn't doing it. Justin's like, dude, they're going to text you when they're ready. You're in a virtual line. I'm like, all right. So he talked me off the ledge. We walked around a little bit. So I thought that was really cool because you're in a virtual waiting room and you're not just standing there, because that's what you're doing really for all these signatures is standing,
And
standing in
what's
line,
good
stuff
too
like
is
that.
it keeps you moving and there's no cluster.
Correct.
The CGC
Right.
booth is always a disaster.
It's right.
Well, you go to New York, right? Did you go to New York
I
last
haven't
year?
been to New York.
Okay,
like
so New York
5
Comic
years.
Con last year was probably last year and the year before that were the 2 worst at CGC. The way the line was, it doesn't wrap around their booth. It literally does like an L, like they just keep going back and forth downstairs in like where most of the panels are.
Yeah.
That's like where their booths are.
Right.
But it is just ridiculous.
Do they still have 2 booths in New York?
Yeah, they have the one upstairs on the main floor and the one downstairs closer to Artists Out.
Right.
But the fact that it literally just does like a back and forth and that's how they take you was just the longest line, because I'm waiting in line. I'm like, just give me the paperwork. I'll fill out the paperwork before I have to get to the front instead of waiting in line, getting up, then doing all the paperwork.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this new way to do it, like you said,
Right.
if you just sign in and then when they text you, that's great.
You're ready to go. You can get the time to walk around. You're not doing that. So believe it or not, dude, you've been on the show for 5 minutes. You already got a shout out.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Pat Howe, Birdie 1869
Yeah,
said
out.
Todd jumped in and handled the tap one night and he gets the nod. So
That's it.
That's you're only on here for 5 minutes. You get a shout out, So there you go. That's what happens when you're
Yeah,
Todd.
'cause,
All right, so let me
busy
ask
there.
you guys a question.
Yeah.
Right. So I just watched The Boys
Okay.
on Netflix.
Right.
And
Let's not get too crazy.
Have you watched it?
Episode 2.
Okay, you're on episode 2.
3, so.
Where are you?
I just finished episode 2.
Okay,
all right,
very good.
So
All
just getting
right.
started. But first of all, awesome.
Okay.
Second of all, how does a show like that make you think about the future of comic books? Because when I see something like that and loving it, and also there was a movie earlier this year, last year, Brightburn, where
Right.
baby
Yes.
Superman went, bonkers.
Right.
So where does that put us, with that kind of media to comic books in a year from now?
Right.
That
Justin, you
kind
wanna
of
start?
popularity of
right.
that dark, and not DC dark, but
Right.
real dark.
Yeah. So we'll probably just go around with this. So Justin,
Yeah.
what do you think? Like,
I mean, I'm of course, you see the DC dark, but I think Snyder with Man of Steel created that dark, that different side of the movie, because I mean he did Man of Steel different, Superman was different, but I mean the boys have been around for what? What's like?
Oh God, a while now.
Like 10, about 7, 8 years.
It was definitely like eight years.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, I mean, like
they've
the
been
book I
around.
never read.
Came
I'm sorry, I never
it
read.
came out, but nobody,
Much about
really.
It was
picked up
Dynamite
on it.
Comics, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think without a Wildstorm.
One of those like
Yeah.
fifth party.
But I think
even
it's-
I think The Boys is a good way because it shows. I mean, everyone's watching, and people who normally don't
What
watch.
show on Netflix?
I mean, my mother was just like, "Oh, I'm like 5 episodes into The Boys," and I'm like, "You're watching The Boys?"
No way.
Yeah, me and my dad are. Me and your dad are watching. And I was like, "What?"
Right.
So like, they're intrigued about it because it's a more mature thing. It's not the Marvel like that everyone likes.
Right. You don't see Captain America,
Yeah, you
which
don't
is
see-
considered like, I would say like, I'm sorry, Justin.
Not
what you
taboo, but
Right. Yeah.
It's great. I think it's a good way to.
Yeah.
I think it's the future of what's going on, and what it is it opens up the whole indie comics.
Mhm.
Right. Because there are great stories out there. To me,
I didn't do that.
well,
No, but this is like
yeah, this is superhero.
this
Right. This is a superhero. You're talking about
Okay,
those are your
gotcha.
dragons.
The dragon.
The dragons, right? Yeah, the dragons. Yeah. So I always thought, I've been saying this for a while, The Boys is what The Wanted should have been, if it could have been that way. You know what I mean? That's what I expected The Wanted to be, because when The Wanted came out, I was enamored by it. It was so dark, it was so crazy. And now I'm watching The Boys, and I'm like, all right, this is really cool. I'm like, all right, this is really cool. I'm like, wow, this is really awesome. So I think it's just a way to show that indie comics, there's Marvel, DC, and then there's tons of other great stories out there. And Hollywood, their writers are running out of stories. Like, when was the last time we talked about a good Hollywood movie that wasn't comic book related per se? Like, the Quentin Tarantino movie that came out, that was A-list actors. You had DiCaprio, you got Pitt. I don't even know what that did for numbers, but it wasn't too great from what I understand. You know what I mean? So it's just a way.
What you call it isn't a comic book, is it?
What's-
The blue people.
Avatar.
Avatar.
No, that was all James Cameron.
About it though.
Right,
I mean,
absolutely.
but it still
Right.
has that feel of a comic book type movie.
Yeah.
Even
Right.
though it wasn't a comic
Right.
book.
So I finished it, 8 episodes. I think it was eight episodes. Absolutely fantastic. I watched 1 episode at a time, maybe 2. I loved it. Can't wait to see what they bring for season 2. So
Are they
really,
doing
really
season
cool.
2?
Oh, it's already been signed. Yeah, it's already been
I
signed.
think
So
it says more about the future of TV.
okay,
I think less about how the comic industry or comic books are going to be, but the success of those types of shows, showing that, and you started, and you have all these different TV stations, like
I think more so
away
streaming.
from the streaming. When you have Krypton on Sci-Fi Network, and you have Cloak and Dagger on, people are
Alfred
seeing.
is on something else too.
Yeah,
That's
Pennyworth.
Yeah.
Titans, Teen Titans. has
Right.
The Titans
Yeah.
is on the street.
Patrol.
I think that the industry realizes that this is us as consumers. This is what we want.
right.
It's less about reading it, but taking stories that we already know and making something that's awesome to watch.
Cool. Right. Absolutely. Gary, you're on episode 2?
Yeah.
All right. So when you watched it, you're like, I'm in on this. Did you know
Hell
about
Well, you had The Boys, the book.
You did. Okay, you did.
Yeah,
You did.
it was a
Okay.
book, yeah.
You do it. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
But yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I was asking him because he read it,
Right.
and he said it's significantly different, but still good.
Yeah, and that's what we talked about on Lords of the Long Box. That I guess there was a dog in the comic
Yeah,
book
yeah.
that was a little bit bonkers, which I didn't put. But the guy who plays the main character is one of my favorite
He's
actors.
great.
I can't think of his name, but he played Dredd. Yeah, Carl Urban. The Doctor in the revamped. He was a great Bones. He was great in Lord of the Rings. He was a great Judge Dredd.
Thor.
Yeah, he was great in Thor as he was the Butcher, right? No, he was
Executioner.
he was the Executioner. Yes, absolutely. So he's great. So Carl Urban was definitely one of my favorite characters. One of my favorite actors right now. So really cool. So yeah, we'll have to see how it goes. You know what I mean? So nice.
He did a great job. He was like, candy ass in that movie.
Yeah, well, yeah. But-
He's fantastic.
I guess he played a
on board.
great candy ass. He did.
No, yeah, it was just because that's a
Good
character.
actor.
It's a good actor. You never expected to see
Yeah.
like that kind of story on the big screen, and I thought that was really neat.
Yeah.
So,
There's
Now-
a lot of image stuff that not that the boys is image, but there's a
Right.
lot of stories out there that
Yes.
can come.
that can come from.
And they probably will.
Really.
They probably will.
Yeah.
Whether it's streaming or one of these.
Well, Millar World, the whole Millar everything is now Netflix owned.
Yes,
Right?
yes,
Netflix
yeah.
and all that.
Millar owns
Like, I
that,
think
right?
Reborn is going to be the first one out of the gate.
Yeah.
They say
Really?
Which was, did
Yeah.
you read it?
No.
Like,
Yeah.
I thought, did you read Reborn?
Yeah.
I felt like it should have kept going. I
Okay.
felt like all of a sudden it was over. I mean,
That's all his stuff is. It's always like a 6 issues, and then you're
I have,
eventually.
It was
I have
good.
I have a question. Did anybody see any Walking Dead books on the wall today? Did anybody see any
Yeah,
more Walking
I
Dead?
had one.
What did you have up there?
I had a first Negan San Diego Comic Con variant.
Okay.
We had one person who was
Is there a
interested in
dragon?
Yeah.
that. No
Yeah.
dragons.
Yeah.
Who was interested in that, and I have a Watchmen run.
Okay. You do. Okay.
With the preview book. to go with
Okay.
it.
Right. Right.
I don't
right.
watch
She's
any of those
interested in
shows.
both. and
So
Yeah.
the joke is, if they talk about Game
Well,
of Thrones, I'm like, is that the zombies?
Right.
And he's like, no,
That's the inside
That's
joke.
exactly-
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Gotcha.
So Todd is you're a graphic designer by trade, right?
Sure.
A little bit about right.
A little bit.
Where did you go to school? Talk
I
about your
went to
education.
SCAD, yeah.
You went to SCAD. For people who don't know SCAD, what's SCAD?
Savannah College of Art and Design.
Yes, absolutely. All right. Todd is a great illustrator. And so he's here with his family today. Now, just a fan of the whole experience, right?
Yeah.
Like your son and daughter dressed up. Shout out to B and Bryce, right?
That's right.
They got in costumes and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
as not truly a comic fan, but a fan of the experience, did you think today was busy? Did you enjoy today? Like,
Yeah, last year it was better for some reason. I also bought more books last year.
Okay.
So I didn't buy a lot this year.
Yep.
So, but the spectacle of it is always a lot of fun. So, we like to come with the kids. Your family's here. Your family's here.
Right.
We all get together. Everybody dresses up.
right.
My wife and I
Cosplay is
has
cool.
done cosplay before. We haven't
Yep.
done it for a couple of years, but it's fun.
Right.
It's a fun experience. It's a fun way to get my kids interested in comics other than, hey, look, try to read this.
Right. Exactly.
My daughter
Yeah.
reads comics, but my
Right.
son doesn't. Like
Right.
he's still not, he's 6. So
Right. Exactly.
he's not there yet. But having him get, interested
Into it.
the whole experience of
Sure.
it, I think
Right.
is what is a lot of fun for us. But this year, I don't know numbers wise.
Yeah.
Because we rolled in late,
Yeah.
and then we had to get going, and we had all kinds of things we wanted to get done while we were there. But it seemed the books I were looking for wasn't around.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right.
So
Interesting.
I don't
All
know
right.
if everybody had that same kind of experience or.
I thought there were a lot of vendors today. Like I said, I thought it was a lot of the same kind of vendors and stuff like that. So you just have to figure it out. And tomorrow is when I'm really going to go through the dollar boxes. You know what I mean? Tomorrow is when I'm going to go through the $5 and $10 boxes
Yeah.
and really try to
Depending
figure
on how
out.
tonight goes, I'm happy looking for a big book.
Yes, exactly. So we got a lot of play tonight. So we give us a royal flush. We're buying something big. How's everybody doing today? Doing all right, ladies?
Yes.
Good to see you. So we did that, and then moving forward, Justin is not here tomorrow.
No.
So
Today I'm out.
well,
I was out at about I don't know.
Yeah, guy comes to me. He's like, I just bought this book. He's like, I'm out. I'm like, what do you mean you're out?
Hey, we're gonna do the show. He's gonna drive 3 hours home.
Yeah, well, it's adulting. now,
Actually, probably closer to 5 with the
Right.
construction on 95.
Yeah.
There is no construction.
Oh, yes.
Oh, wow. Maybe you should stay anyway, huh?
Good luck with
Right.
that.
So something that I talked to Gary about was like submitting books at here or on-site grading and stuff like that. And Gary, this I wanted to say, if I submit grades now, am I better off doing Baltimore with on-site grading? And Gary, what was the outtake of this? What did you like? So moderns, you would say.
Moderns on site seem to be hit a little harder than the value, the standard
Gotcha.
tiers.
Right.
So I wouldn't submit moderns for on-site grading.
Yep.
Plus, the turnaround time is so quick for
Yep,
moderns,
right.
relatively speaking. We're talking
Yes.
about a month,
Right.
but
Right.
there's no reason to go to Baltimore, pay the extra money, and take it home if you can be patient.
Okay.
Value tier, standard tier,
Yeah.
all economy, all that stuff. Yeah, you want to be at Baltimore because I think 90 days, 90 plus days. on
Yeah.
calendar.
Right. I'm looking at this. Like I'm gonna be waiting for Christmas.
Yeah.
But
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, you'll be
Right.
waiting
But
until
there's no.
November.
Are you saying there's a downfall to submitting moderns if you're already here?
If you're here,
yeah.
submit your
Submit your
moderns.
moderns.
Right. Okay.
If you're going to
If
Baltimore,
you're saying don't make the trip just to do that.
Don't
Right.
make the trip to Baltimore if you're
Or
going
pay
to
the money, right? So I got some value tree
No
books.
point. You
that
can
I'm gonna
submit
send
your
you.
monitors, but don't do them for on-site grading. Do them,
Right.
send them off to CGC.
Yes,
They do that
absolutely.
too, and
Right,
they'll
right.
take
You
your
can do that
books.
from there, stuff like that. Yeah.
You know,
So
they'll
outside,
take-
they actually grade it there.
Yeah, I dump about 50 to 100 books on
They
Friday.
don't do that here.
No,
No, okay. So what I did here isn't what you're talking about.
no. In 2 weeks at Keystone in Philly, they're
Right.
on-site grading.
Do they really?
The
Okay.
show is trash.
I went
The show
The
is
show is trash. So if you're doing on-site grading,
Okay.
it's worth the trip.
Now,
What an hour drive. That's like literally an hour.
You
And then you just go
submit
back,
your
right?
books on-
Yeah.
Is it a 3-day show? Yeah.
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 Submit your books on Friday.
Drive
Go
back.
home. Come back Sunday. You know
Right.
your books will be done by Sunday.
Yeah. Right.
No
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't
You
realize.
do
that was
pay
an
a
option.
premium. I
Yeah.
think you pay $10 more a book, but it's like fast track.
Right. Nice.
If you have, I know you have value tier or better.
Right. I've got value stuff that I'm sending to you. You know what I mean?
For
So
Baltimore.
for Baltimore, which I probably should have given you now, but
Yeah. You have.
I don't have them here. But I got the wooden box that you're going to get back.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's what I'm having. I'm paying shipping for all of these, and there's only one book, man.
Well, see,
You know, so the swap is going to be pretty good. We're going to talk about that in a minute. It's going to be on Saturday. Yep. So tomorrow, my game plan is to get in there early. I am going to meet Chris Claremont finally. I hope to take a picture with him. I have X-Men 96 was really the first X-Men big book that I remember buying for collecting. And when I was 12 years old, I had Dave Cockrum sign it. He signed it on the inside, and I would ask Chris Claremont. I know he signs on the cover, but because I'm just going to hit him up with the sentimental, be like, hey, would you mind signing us on the inside right next to Dave? I'd like to talk to him a little bit about Dave, and I have no shame in my game. If I got to sit there and talk to him for 10 minutes and he lets me talk to him, I'll stay there. I've waited my time, so hopefully I can do that.
Have you ever met him?
I've never met Chris Claremont,
Okay.
and Chris Claremont is really the reason I can read. You know, and because when I was a kid, I was having a hard time reading, so I used to read the X-Men books. It really helped me out, stuff like that. So, and then growing up, you know, my younger age, the whole Phoenix Saga and the first Alpha Flight and stuff like that is just stuff that it's ingrained in my brain. So that's what I'm going to do tomorrow. I'm definitely going to dig in some long boxes. I've got a book that I've got my eye on. Unfortunately, the guy he's significantly over GPA, and I think
me.
no, it's not you, Gary. But I think I'm just going to hit him up with, look, dude. This is X amount of dollars less on eBay right now. I'd rather give you the money than go on eBay. So what can we do? And hopefully I can make that deal.
What book?
I don't want to talk about it because you might be on the show and you might be watching something like that. So I don't want
Tell me
it to come off wrong. Oh, absolutely. I don't want to come off wrong, but he was a very nice guy and we'll figure it out. So, and I'm definitely going to look into some fillers. I want to get some G.I. Joes. I want to get some Transformers. Good reading stuff, not as high grade as Roger's books.
Well, at least got a whole box full.
Yeah, so I'm going to do that. I'm also going to do my other books that I talked about with CGC. So that's my plan for tomorrow. You'll probably see that in a video haul after our three men in the basement hangover. You know what I mean? So what's your goal for tomorrow?
I really don't have one. I want to
Okay.
talk to more people. I
Yeah.
think, and then depending on how good the tables go tonight,
Right.
buy a key book.
Yeah, nice.
Maybe I can go talk that
Right, because
gentleman
you're
down
after.
in the Marvel team up. That's 9.8, way overpriced at $500.
Right. Okay. Right. I don't even know what GPA is on that. So. Oh, I'm looking at you like you know that off the top of your head. Like you know that off the top of your head. You know what I want to talk about? I want to talk about this. We're almost going on an hour. I want to keep it under an hour, but I want to talk about, maybe in a live chat you guys can comment, the rarity of books in the census. I can't believe that. Hey, what's up, man? How you doing?
How's it going?
Good. Did you go to the show today?
All day.
All day.
Mr.
Yeah.
King!
Yeah.
This is Tom King!
Tom King!
Are you kidding?
Yes. Please come on. Sit down, man. Sit down, please.
Play man waiting on me.
What you got? All right. Okay.
Rich, I'm getting a sketch from you tomorrow.
Am I live on something?
You're live on YouTube on Free Men in the Basement.
Hey guys,
Hey, what's up, man?
what's
Free Men in the Basement.
I'm
What's up,
Tom.
Tom?
Roger. Nice to meet you.
Talk really quick about a sketch tomorrow.
A sketch tomorrow, yeah.
What, you get a lot of that?
Sketch. They get a lot of that?
You get a
Yeah,
lot of that?
they're all free. They're horrible. I'm
Okay.
the worst artist in comics. Yes, and people ask the sketches just to mock me.
Really?
Wait in line for 2 hours to mock me.
Yeah,
I appreciate that.
There you go.
conversation.
How are the crowds today?
Great.
Great. You
Yeah,
got all right.
super good.
All right.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, every time people show up, I'm surprised.
Right. You're like, you guys actually like the stuff that I do.
I'm like, do you know me? 'Cause I'm not that impressive a person.
Right. Yeah.
Like some people get their pants on one leg at a time. I just trip over my pants.
Right.
Let's
ask a
Are you allowed to talk about New Gods at all?
No, I cannot talk about. I mean, I can say like a boring pablum about it if you want some.
Anything.
Yeah, we're gonna honor Kirby's legacy, and Ava is genuinely like a wonderful partner, and she like gets it, and she's into it, and it's very nerdy, and
It's a very back and forth ideas with her.
Yeah, she's
great.
yeah. This is not my first Hollywood person I've worked with, and she's just incredible. Yeah, she's a freaking genius in her craft. So
Right.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
I'll tell you right now. Like
Right.
your Mr. Miracle run obviously was ridiculous. So like
Mr. Miracle, classic Kirby stuff. You know what I mean? Just some of my best. That's just unbelievable.
Yeah,
You know, is he one of your favorite artists from when you were a kid? Like somebody that you emulate. You know what I mean? Somebody that you would.
Artists, like writers or artists?
Artists. Yeah.
Oh, I mean, when I was a kid, when I was a young kid, it was like John Buscema.
Gotcha.
Like that
All right.
stuff.
Yeah.
Tom Palmer, John Buscema.
Right.
That was my great because like the like Avengers and 300s. That
Right.
was, like, my
Awesome. And then how about for writers, of course?
And for writing, I was like, I mean, it's Alan Moore. Frank.
Yeah. Oh, really? Yeah. Okay. There you go.
Yeah. Watchmen, DK. Well,
Yeah.
especially Miller when I was a kid.
Right. Frank Miller for me was Daredevil.
Yeah.
You know, like
Daredevil
Death of
and-
Elektra, all that kind of stuff, and just unbelievable. The Hand, Gladiator, you know, just all that stuff. Just great stuff that I grew up with. You know, the Death of Elektra, Daredevil 181, when Bullseye, you know, flicks the ace and it goes right across Elektra's neck. He goes like this. He goes, "You're good, but me, I'm magic." And he throws that ace, cuts her neck, and you're just like, "Oh my God, this is unbelievable." 12-year-old kid looking at this, I'm like, "How is this?" You know what I mean? It's just really, really crazy. So awesome.
So I want to
awesome.
talk DC real quick because I'm the fanboy of the DC. So I'm a
Well-
huge Batman fan. Well, yes.
Well, I grew up a Marvel fanboy, so I can talk that stuff.
but you're right. I mean,
I came up
Well,
with some
Visions
Advil
was
from
amazing,
my
too.
room
We can
and
talk
now
about it. All right, so
this is my life now.
all right, so
Okay, so I didn't get any makeup.
here's
I didn't lose 10 pounds.
You look good though. You look
Yeah,
good.
oh yeah, of course.
Get
Yeah, what's
skinny
up?
care.
Oh, good. I'm glad. That's skinny care. Right. Yeah,
Yeah,
fix it in post. Put some hair into it. Yeah, that'd be good.
So I'm a huge Batman fan, like of them. So,
You
so,
fuck. I can't say fucking.
Yeah,
Yeah, okay. You do whatever you want.
do whatever you want.
So we're in a casino.
Can you talk a little bit about the next series?
The next series, the Batcat series. Yes, I can say that Clayman and his wife are waiting downstairs currently. And he's going to be drawing that series, and he's going to be like, "I was drawing it until they left me and my wife in the fucking elevator." Some goddamn YouTube, supposedly.
Right. We try. We're just a bunch of guys hanging around.
It's the end of the Batman run. It's the culmination. It's the original plan. I guess it's the best.
So
way to put it.
when are you ending it, Batman?
So Batman, I end 85. That's the end of City of Bane. So City of Bane starts at 75, ends at 85.
Okay,
issue
so
10. That's the end of the Bane storyline, which has been running for 85 issues. And then we start the end of the Catwoman storyline. So it's been sort of two parallel storylines have been going together, and now they're going to sort of come together. And so first it's Bane, and then it's Catwoman. So the Bane thing ends 85, and then the Catwoman ends in Batcat 12.
Oh, so it's only going to be a 12 limited series?
That's it. That's the end
All
of
right,
my
okay,
run.
That's it. 12 and done, right? That's a good number. 12 and out. You know?
Are you off of Batman because of New Gods? Like, because there's so many silly rumors online, BS crap.
Yeah, no,
What you can
it's like a complicated combination of things. It has to do with New Gods. I'm also doing the secret television thing.
Ooh.
And,
All right.
yeah,
You
right.
heard it first.
That's
Yeah,
it. Look out for Tom King.
So the way that they wanted the book to sort of hit 100 in January, this is stupid stuff, but in January 2021. And so to do that, the math, it's because the book comes out twice a month.
Yep.
It had to go monthly at some point, right?
Okay.
So, or else it will get there too fast. So, but if Batman goes monthly, it's the best-selling book at DC Comics. Half the comic sales lose their second best-selling book, which is the other Batman that comes out that month.
Yeah.
So they decided to split the book in two. So you have two a month. There'll be Batman and Batcat. And the idea that hopefully my audience comes with me, and then Batman will sort of do what it needs to do. And so that's like the math of it. But also, I'm going to be working on the movie and the TV show. So rather than writing twice a month Batman, I can write once a month Batman.
Right.
And I have the Strange Adventures of Mr. Miracle follow up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I am.
How do you do all this, man?
I'm tired.
Come on, beer, man. Can we get some beer? I mean, we don't have anything fancy.
No, I need Advil. That's why I came up. Because I had too many beers last night.
All right.
I'm not so
honestly, so
I definitely want to sketch now tomorrow.
right. So now that's why this con is crazy, because we're sitting in a con in the middle of a casino with everything else going on. You know what I mean? You usually just go back and hang out and do whatever you want. But man, thank you very much for joining us.
You guys rock.
You know what I mean?
Thank you so
thank you
much.
very
My
much.
pleasure. You know.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Answer those
You
questions.
guys are so nice.
There you go. Enjoy.
Around the corner.
All right.
Podcast that we're on, that you're on right now.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
You can check us
Yeah,
out.
this is awesome. Subscribe. Don't just fucking watch.
Thanks
That's
a
right.
lot, man.
Thank you very much, man.
Enjoy the rest of your night, man.
Yeah. Don't worry about the lights.
Our room's on the other side of this door. So
That's the room I tried to get. So, Todd, thank you very much for giving up your seat. So, thank you very much. That was,
I'm not making us remove you.
yeah. So, that's something you don't see every day. You bang it out. Yeah, really. Bang back. So,
kids.
yeah.
That's awesome.
So, that's something you don't see every day at 3 Men in the Basement, but that's the whole reason we love to have it here
It's a story.
at the casino. Yeah. So, maybe we'll save your story for another time, or, you know. So,
probably one of the few, well, not few. He's probably the top 2 or 3 writer at DC right now.
yeah,
He's
right.
my fan. He's
Right.
my
The miracle. It's just,
Oh,
yeah,
that was awesome.
we absolutely love that. So, yeah, I don't know what else to say. That's how we're going to end it. So, you heard some new stuff. Catch us on the rewind. Listen to what Tom King had to say. Listen to Otto blunder over his word with, just whatever, hero worship and stuff like that. So, good thing I got my DC people around me. I got all the 3 Men in the Basement. I got Todd, the bartender. I got Barry Gary. I got Juan in the studio audience. I got everybody. So, I do want to give a shout out to a few people as we wrap up. Shout out to everybody who wore the 3 Men in the Basement t-shirts tonight. I definitely think we got a presence here at Terrificon, and Terrificon is in my backyard, Mohegan Sun, and that's definitely what I was looking for. So shout out to everybody who did that. I want to give a few shout outs to a couple of guys who came up to me and said, Otto, we love your show. We watch it all the time. So Flying Brian came up to me. He follows us. And he goes, Otto, could you give me a 9-8 karate chop? He goes, can you do a 9-8 karate chop right now? And I said, Brian, I don't have any 9-8s right now. I got 9-6, but you know what it's like. He made a couple jokes about Mr. 8.0 over here and stuff like that. So
That was bad. I watched that. So
so shout out to those guys and things coming
Thank
up.
you so
You
much.
get the Advil, man.
I got
Just have a martini, dude. You'll be all set. You know,
What are you guys talking about?
we're just wrapping it up right now because
We're talking about it after that.
Dark side.
Dark side is.
that's it.
Dark
You know?
side is.
Yeah. All right. Thank you very much. So the 3 Men in the Basement swap is coming up. It's going to be the 3rd Saturday in September. We're going to have that in Newington. I'm going to put the location in the description there. Please show up if you can. It's been the first one was a blast. It's after the reason I'm planning it for September 21st is because it's after Terrificon, obviously the hangover. It's before New York, so we got to get our fix. We got to talk about comics. We got to move some books. So hopefully we'll be able to join that. So that'll be in there, and we'll just do a little sign off. So Barry Gary, you got anything to say?
Yeah, I just want to say we touched on this in the very beginning, how you had an experience with an artist who just Tucci, hung out, bullshit. We just had Tom freaking King walk by and sit down for 10 minutes. That's the stuff that this is what it's all about. Like, that's amazing. Like, I'm good. I'm
Right.
Yeah,
I'm good.
unbelievable.
I don't have to sign off. See you later.
Absolutely right. All right.
I want to give a shout out to one of the other guys who told me a great story that I'm going to share in our next year.
You too. Right.
Because Mr. King just took that away from me, which is great because that was phenomenal. I mean, you can't put a price on what just happened.
Nah.
Yeah.
But Tim Cooper of Coop's Comics out of Pittsburgh, shout out to you if you're watching. If you're watching on Rewind, I had a great conversation with today, about a half hour, 45 minutes, just shooting the crap. Told me a great story about him and Neil Adams that we'll share one day.
Nice.
So shout out to him and
I want to hear about that.
All right.
peace,
Cool.
everybody. Thanks a lot.
Justin, what do you got to say?
I got nothing, man. Tom King's awesome.
Good. Todd, what would you like to say?
It was a pleasure being here with you.
Thank you very much. So on behalf, when you're done with us in 30 seconds, jump over to Gem Mint. TiVo's on there, Gem Mint's on there. See what where we at? Rocking the Lord shirt tomorrow. I probably will too, just to represent, my colors and stuff like that. So it's been a great time. Catch us on the Rewind. So on behalf of the Lords of the Long Box, on behalf of 3 Men in the Basement, I am Otto and I am out. Peace.
Peace, everybody. Go Yanks.
Shit, lost tonight. Sorry.
Can't win them all.
Nope, that's right.
That was amazing.